Hi, my loves. I have been so busy with my family and doing nails, but I can't wait to get written in before bed tonight. So here we are. I got the Urban Tarot. Let's see what's coming out in the cards. All right. So we'll get some shuffles. This reading is timeless. If you're new here, welcome. You caught the vibe. Oh my gosh, I always forget with this deck. I have to shuffle it this way. They're so big, I can't fit my hands. So, yeah, if you're new, you caught the vibe. If you're welcome back, you're just part of the vibe. You are regular. We love our regulars. We love the newbies. We love what we do. We're glad we can do it with you. The way it works is Spirit knows what's on your mind and on your heart. I connect to Source. Source is connected to you. And I get given the language to speak the messages in a way that will reach more of you instead of less of you. So if you're guided to watch this message, God's got something to say. And it's my job to speak it. I'm going to move that off of my desk so don't keep jiggling every time I touch a desk. There, that's better. Okay. All right, so we're going to see what come out in these messages today. I don't know if we'll stick to the one deck of cards or if we'll be pulling multiple decks. We'll find out as we move along. I don't have a plan. I don't have a subject in mind. We're just going to let what comes through come through. And let's see what you want to talk to us about. What's happening here? The Chariot. Oh, zodiac sign Cancer on the table. But the Chariot is more than that. It's about getting yourself aligned with your mind, your body, and your spirit so you can actually move forward. Think about driving a car with a chariot, You have to physically take the action. You have to know what to do, and you have to have the skills and put those into action. Otherwise, the car is useless, right? So with the chariot here, you're taking your wisdom. You have an idea, and you're taking action to make progress, to get where you want to be. Okay. All right. So chariot table, chariot energy on the table. So I just got a vision of Teen Wolf, the old movie Teen Wolf, where they're car surfing because he's on top of the car. So I just got that energy here. If you've ever done that, 5,000 points. And that's crazy. I heard that's crazy. Okay, we have the Seven of Swords. Ooh, Seven of Swords. Now we have an alignment of energy here because the 7 and the 7, Major Arcana 7, is the Chariot. Seven of Swords is a card that speaks to me. All the cards with me, they have a low vibration and a high vibration. So in its lower vibration, it's totally lies, deception, and sneaky, shady behavior. But in a lighter vibration, it is using strategy, seeking out a wiser path, keeping information to yourself until it's time for it to be revealed instead of just blurting everything out. In Seven of Swords, it's a challenging energy because in the Seven of Swords, you gotta figure some things out. There's some things to be figured out. And so 7 for me is the number from heaven. So the Seven of Swords also speaks to me about that there's a divine plan in play in this situation. There always was. So what I'm hearing is as you discovered something regarding this divine plan, that's what got you that point where everything kind of, I'm just seeing the locks. I'm seeing the pins on a lock fall into place and the safe opens. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing everything clicks into place. And that's what causes the opening. Are you okay, grandson? Okay. All right, let's see what else. And then we have the Princess of Discs. The Princess of Discs. In this image, we have the kindergarten teacher, and she's sitting inside while the children are outside having recess. She could be planning the rest of the day. Okay. Are you watching some? Oh boy. Oh boy, the message I just got. Okay, so here you are. I feel this is your energy here, the Princess of Dis, where you are watching somebody who is learning some lessons. Yeah, I see you watching somebody learning some lessons. I see a sense of pride while you're watching this person figure things out. Yeah, there's I'm seeing a deep sense of pride. So proud of you. You're figuring things out, making sense of things. And then as you're seeing this person figuring things out, making sense of things, you're seeing an improvement. You're seeing things start to move forward for them. Okay. I also see somebody who is taking a hard lesson. There's somebody who's taking a hard lesson around some sneaky behavior with the car. Maybe you somebody here, I see you watching a person who, they could have got themselves caught up in something. Got themselves caught up in something in the night, in the car. And you're watching while they go through the lessons. I heard, I'm sitting back. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to let them fall on their face. Well, I mean, when you tell a kid so many times, and it could be your kid, but it doesn't have to be, but they're giving me with the illustration of a child. You tell the child so many times, don't do this, you're going to hurt yourself. Don't do this, you're going to hurt yourself. If they don't listen and then they hurt themselves, what can you do? You gave them all the warnings. The kid don't listen. Why you lying to the teacher? Somebody lying to the teacher. Don't lie to your teacher. Just do what the teacher told you. You get yourself in trouble. Then you get in trouble with the teacher. Then you come home and you're in trouble at home too. I see a concerned teacher or a concerned parent trying to figure out, how do I get this kid to understand that they're only hurting themselves with this? So there's this kid that's doing something, or there's some sort of behavior and it's only hurting them, and you know it. Okay. Well, you know who you are in this. Let me see some more. Let me see some more. We have the World. Okay. So I heard you took some hard lessons. You took some very hard lessons, but you definitely learned from those difficult experiences. And now you're feeling success. I heard pride and accomplishment, as you should, because what used to affect you is not affecting you no more. I see one who is like, I'd rather walk. I'm not going to drive. I'd rather walk or take the bus. I'm not going to drive. Somebody's not going to drive. Like I said, somebody got themselves caught up driving some sort of way. It could have been, I'm not going to go into the details. You know the different ways you get yourself caught up driving. So somebody got themselves caught up driving. And they're like, I'm not going to drive no more. Maybe they say, I'll just catch an Uber or something. Okay, but there's a level up in this. There's progress happening. Let me see. Princess of Swords. And I'm hearing call to action, a call to action. You could have, I see that you gave them a great idea of how to take this call to action in the past. Now we have the 7 of Pentacles here. And so now we have 777 on the table. That's 777, baby. Triple sevens, lucky sevens, 6 of Cups. Okay. So look, okay. 6 of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. It's talking about past, memories of the past, the things from the past. I heard the lies that somebody was told as a past. So I see, I see somebody here who is looking at the way they communicate with another person, because there's a remembrance of how damaging it was. Something was communicated to you. And for someone you specifically know, this was on your 7th birthday, or you were 7 years old, something like that. But and somebody said something. Somebody said something and it was not the truth. It was very painful. It was cutting. It was meant to be hurtful. It was meant to be damaging. And then when this happened, it put an idea in the mind, in your mind, of how things have to be, of what communication looks like. This is where, for example, I just heard, you little dummy. Somebody whose parents like to call them a little dummy all the time. That was very hurtful. And so, whoever this person is, they grew up believing that they were a dummy because their parents always told them they're a little dummy. And that was very hurtful. So now this person, I see somebody who's seeing a therapist and making sense out of it. And actually, this person is very wise, very intelligent, but they were called a little dummy so much that programming stuck. Oh my God, these sevens, that's it. Oh God, yeah. So if you've been doing any research on spiritual stuff, you might have come across this information that says, up until you're 7 years old, that is the programming phase for the human, from birth to 7 years old is very important, very, very formative. And my daughter and I had a conversation today about how sometimes when your children are little and you're a young parent, you don't realize how little your babies are, and you be talking to them like they grown and shit. And then when they grow up, you realize that you were talking crazy to a little baby. And some adults, you get busy with life and burden with stresses and whatever else is going on your mind and your job and relationships and, all the grown-up stuff, right? Sometimes adults forget that the children are literally, they're just little babies. Yeah, I know that it's important for them to learn a lot. So we don't want to baby them per se, but we want to allow them space to grow and to learn in a healthy way. And we definitely don't want to talk to them crazy. Because there's a lot of programming that happens there, and they're giving me the Masaru Emoto experiments, where Masaru Emoto, rest in peace, he proved that the way you speak to things influences the way it responds to you, the way it responds in general. I want to find these. So I'm going to save it I'm going to leave the search for his name on my YouTube so I can find those videos to share them again. I've shared them many times over the years. I need to share them again. But he took, the Fujiwara Dam? I don't know, but he took a bit of water from a water dam that had been exposed to radiation, and he showed what it looked like through a microscope or something, right? And then he had it blessed by the monks. He had the water blessed by the monks, and it changed the way it looked. And then, he took the bottle of water and he put a label on it, a blessing word on it, or, a word love, and it all changed the way it looked. And when it was like, when you think about it, the way you speak to the human body is mostly made of water. So I don't care if your children are doing dirty, rotten behaviors. You still speak to them with love. You still let them know that they're loved. You don't begin to berate them and belittle them. It's the behavior that needs correction. The child is not. I hear people all the time about children who they fully love. I just had a friend. Oh, yeah, my niece, I love my niece, a little 3-year-old niece, but she a badass. Oh, she a little badass. And, people say this about children all the time. Why? Because the children they have behavioral, and it's like, so the child got some behavioral issues, and I'm just like, yeah, but she's only saying that shit because she heard her parents talk like that, That's what's coming up in this reading. And there's a message here about watch how you speak to young people. Watch how you speak to people in general. But there's somebody here who was spoken to who received some really ugly shit during those formative age, 7 years old and younger. Boy, oh boy, now they're showing me my own life. Before 7 years of age, I have a lot of really fucked up memories. Memories of my dad putting a gun to my mother's head. I literally remember my father grabbing me by my hair and hitting the wall on the other side of the room because he threw my ass across the fucking room. I remember all kinds of crazy things, beatings, and seeing my mother just all disfigured from my father whooping the shit out of her like if she deserved it, like she was a man in a motherfucking MMA ring. All that stuff sticks with the person. All that stuff will really stick with the person. And then you got to go through all these deep healing processes to get that shit out of your energy. And boy, if it ain't been a process, because I remember, I'm 45 now. I remember being 21 and having the experience of when I realized that I hated the way I behaved. I hated getting angry. It felt horrible when I would come down off of my rage, because while I was angry, I just wanted to be more angry. I just wanted to be more angry. I just wanted to be more angry and more violent and more disrespectful. And I really wanted to piss everybody off and hurt them and make them as mad as I was. That was the way I felt when I would be angry like that. And then I just remember, and when I would come off of it, when I would finally come down from being in a full-blown rage, how horrible I felt for the things that came out of my mouth, for the things that I had said. And then that was around the time where my ex-partner told me that he said, I think you're bipolar. I think you need to see a doctor. And I said, boy, that makes sense. But, that was right around the time when I figured out, all I got to do is just make different decisions. I just got to make different decisions. And so that's where it began. And that's what I'm seeing here. There's somebody here who has walked away from the programming that they received. And now this person, I see this person, you may work with children. You could be a mother or a father or, somebody who works with children. Maybe you're a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a teacher, but you work with children and you're really working to improve the programming because you know how this programming works. Now, some of you're not working with children, but you are working with the way you talk to people. So this doesn't only work up until 7, but if we can catch them by 7 years old, and then we can, get ahead of the game on this shit instead of set ourselves back so far. And that's what had happened, in somebody's life that I'm seeing here. I see that, as a child, you heard a lot of things and you knew it wasn't right, but it still became part of your psyche. And now you have worked hard. Have you worked hard? You dug deep to overcome the programming that was given to you. I just heard it. I just heard somebody's, this is crazy. As crazy as my daddy was, this is one thing he never told me, but your parents told you this, or somebody who raised you told you this, because somebody wasn't raised by their parents. But they said, you'll never amount to nothing. Someone has battled this. Shout out to Michelle, our first commenter. I saw that. Somebody said, you'll never amount to nothing. And boy, oh boy, once you start putting things into place and you start making sense out of some shit, you were determined to become the best at what it is that you do. You were determined to make something out of yourself. You were determined to get out of that situation, away from that mentality, and change the game. And I see that that's what's happened here. I see that's successful. I see that's completely successful. I see somebody who has completely come out of it. And I just see a person who's sitting here now in reflection, like realizing, there's this realization, like the people that you heard all that mess from, the people that you got those ideas from, they were like injured children too. So it's like, when you're dealing with somebody who has a childish mentality because they never mentally or emotionally matured, like, you can't expect too much out of that person. And so somebody here, you're making peace with the realization, like, well, damn. Yep, my parents was fucked up. My daddy did a lot of fucked up shit to me. They said a lot of fucked up shit to me. Yep, they fucked me up real good. And I've gone through counseling or this healing process or whatever it was that you did to overcome that, right? But there's this realization that they just gave me all that they had. Like that was all they knew. They didn't know how to do no better. You are the cycle breaker. You're the one who found a better way. You're the one who changed the behavior. You're the one who changed the pattern. You changed the pattern and you took it from being one that was so destructive that you intentionally made it upbuilding. You made it constructive instead of destructive. So there's this, and I see that, maybe you're not a parent, but whoever you deal with, I see plenty of people who've benefited from your wisdom in this. I see a group of people that are benefiting from your wisdom and how you communicate, how you react, how you speak, how you see them. Early in my healing process, one of the things that I started telling people is like the fat person knows they're fat, the ugly person knows they're ugly, whatever. The one with the buck teeth already damn well know that they got buck teeth. They don't need us to tell them that. Can you see something great about them that they can't see and tell them that? Can you tell the fat girl, well, you got a great smile. You got such a nice personality. Can you find something beautiful? That's what I'm saying. Like, we all have the ugly parts of us. Your farts stink. No shit. I know my farts stink. But my words are pretty. Okay. My art is pretty. I don't know. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's ugly parts and there's pretty parts. And the more we keep highlighting the ugly parts, especially of our own children, so many kids, all they ever hear is the ugly parts of them that their parents don't like. And those same parents, if they would put as much energy as they do to constantly reinforcing negative reinforcement and putting focus on the ugly parts, if they will put that bit of focus towards finding something great about this child, give this child some confidence, build this child up, be constructive, they will see a huge change. But the thing is, the parents don't know how. How could they know how to do what they have never had done for them? Is it a child that has learned this first and now you're teaching your parent? I just heard that. I see an experience where the child has become the parent, the teacher to the parent. The child is teaching the parent how to be more constructive, how to not be destructive, because you're building your parent up. Because your parent didn't know how to build you up, but you went and learned. You figured it out. Now you going back and building them up, giving them a constructive mentality. I spoke to a woman today. She's 34 years old. And, she has certain mentalities that she held on to her whole life. And so I want to remind you of this. Go easy on yourself, honey. Go easy on yourself. It took you however many years old you are to learn how to be how you are. It could take you just that long to deconstruct those false ideas and those ugly mannerisms and those ugly mentalities out of you. Because I know I was about 21 when I started realizing, like, I got a serious anger problem and behavioral problem, and I need to fix it because I don't like how I am. And it took me at least that many years, because I can honestly say by the time I was 42, I got a lot better at it. I got a lot better. It was so much harder for me to let loose my anger and let it take control over my life, let it run me, because that's what was going on. So that's what I see happening here. Somebody here who had some bullshit programming, bullshit mentality implanted into them from a very young age. And this person has learned and realized so much, overcome so much from it. Now this person is here from their leveling up. They're like, I know what it took to get here. So I'm going to make sure that I invest wisely as I move forward. I'm going to be aware of what influence I have on the lives. Now, I just got the image of a person who just crosses paths with young people all the time through whatever your chosen career field is. I heard, but you leave something beautiful with each one as they pass through your life, because it's a temporary situation. So they pass. So it's not full on like it's not like a foster parent situation, but it's a temporary situation, right? Somebody is definitely a foster parent, but it's a temporary situation. They pass by. They can pass through your lunch line every day, or they can pass through your grocery store, or I don't know. Maybe you're the crossing guard lady. I don't know. Maybe you're a school bus driver. You can be any of these things, and then some other things. But whatever it is, however you're crossing paths with these young ones, there's an emphasis on the young ones and the way you speak to them to build them up, even if they fuck up. Even when they fuck up, that's the most, when the children make mistakes, when the children have misbehaviors, unhealthy behaviors, we learn from our past that we don't want to beat them down. We want to highlight their good qualities. We want to help them understand why. Why do they want to do this? Not, don't do that because I'm gonna whoop you. Don't do that because I'm gonna talk crazy to you, or I'm gonna put you on punishment. We want them to understand why it's in their best interest. And so that is a challenge. I know it's a challenge. Oh boy, do I know it's a challenge. Oh boy. But it can be done, and it takes repetition. It takes continued repetition. And honey, whoever lied to you and told you that it's on until they're 18, that was a full-blown lie. That was a full-blown lie. I had seen a meme recently, and it was this grown-ass lady, and she got her little babies in the background just causing chaos, and she on the phone with her mama saying, Mommy, when do the kids get more self-sufficient and they won't be so needy? And the mom says, well, honey, I forgot how old the girl was. Let's just say you're 38 and you on the phone with me now. But it was a meme that said that. It's like, once you have children, those children will always be with you. Yes, they will become more self-sufficient as time moves on, but you really want to build into them understanding. You want to build into them confidence. You want to build into them positive qualities that will benefit them for their whole life. And I know it can be a challenge when you're having stress, Is that what happened? You had a stressful day, so you said some shit to somebody that you wish you hadn't said? And then you have to remember what's the effect of doing that? So I see that experience here. Now I see another experience here where there's a romantic relationship. So I see a romantic relationship where, there's a person that's not in your life anymore. This is a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius person. It could also be a zodiac sign Cancer person involved in this, but whoever this was, this person is not letting you know. This person is spying on you. This person is checking your social media and all that shit. They want to know what's going on. They want to see what you're talking about. They're curious about you. They feel like they let a good thing go. And the thing of it is, what I do want to say is you've already moved on. So here's the thing. You could be having maybe somebody, I just heard you seen him drive by in the car. Somebody, you saw your ex drive by in the car. And I heard you hope they hadn't seen you. And they didn't physically see you, but they have been checking up to see, is she posting anything? Or, I wonder if she talked to this one. If they know people in common, they can be asking about how she doing, type of thing. That situation is over. That situation is over. It's not happening anymore. I hear you got all the lessons you needed out of that. Now that situation correlates to the situation with children, because there was something about that person. One of the reasons why it don't work out is because they had so much childhood wounding that they couldn't accept what you had to offer them in this romantic relationship. And it's like when you realize that, you can expose them to the awareness, like, well, those things aren't true, and everybody's not going to betray you. Everybody's not a liar. Everybody's not out to get you, whatever it is. But you can't make them believe it, and you can't make them live that way. And so I see, if you relate to this romantic situation, that's totally what's happened. Is you realize that there's not really anything I can do to heal that for you. You have to heal that on your own. So I'm going to let you do that. And I'm going to get back over here to minding my business. And then, so earlier, as I was resting after doing nail clients, I was laying here resting. And one of the things that kept coming to me was I didn't break it. I don't have to fix it. I didn't break it. I don't have to fix it. And that's the mentality here. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means like you know that it's not your job, it's not your place, and it's not anything that you can do to fix some of these mentalities that people are carrying. But it did affect a connection that's probably a romantic connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the reasons that this has all happened, because like I said, the person be thinking, and there, I just heard the word cutting. There was something that was said, it was true, and it was very cutting. And I hear it cut to the core. Now I'm just noticing in this chariot card that all the raindrops, there's raindrops. It's a rainy night, and this person is on top of the car, so it could be some danger in that. You know, you could have realized there's danger. You were putting yourself in a dangerous position in this situation. You're putting yourself in a dangerous position to be involved in some things that was not yours, you know. There's a divine plan. There was a divine plan in play. I'm seeing another experience now in these same cards where there's been some situation that's been ongoing, repetitive karmic type of situation. And boy, if you didn't have to pull some James Bond, super spy, super spiritual ninja, his crazy moves to get up out of the situation, yes, you did. And finally, you finally feel like you have gotten out of so much darkness, is the way it's coming through. Dangerous situations. You had to go through a lot of emotional processing to get out of it. You had to um, communicate to the inner child that was, I heard, bullied and bruised on the playground. There was an inner child that was bullied and bruised on the playground, meaning you were supposed to be having a good time, but you couldn't because there was some sort of aggressor. There was some sort of predator, some sort of attack against you, and that really did a number on you for a long time. And then now you finally have learned the things you had to learn, and you can look back at those past pains and difficulties from a different perspective because you realize, you know, how they change the way you respond to the world around you, the way you interact with the people that comes into your life. And then I just heard somebody, you're going to write a book about this experience, or you already have, or you're in the middle of it somewhere. I know books take a long time to write. People tell me all the time, you should write a book. Baby, I've been writing a book for a long time. I have. It's in my laptop. It takes a long time to write a good book. Anyways, so I see, you know, there's in some sort of way, you have become the sort of an advocate, informer, a preacher, a teacher, a speaker of wisdom of how to overcome those things that held you back at one point in time. And you feel like you finally overcome difficulties. You know that if you had stayed on that path that you were on before, it would have led you to some form of disaster. You're very aware of that now. But you made wise investments into what to learn about, what to study about, what was I'm hearing a main obsession for you as far as improving your lot in life, is the way I heard it. Improving your lot in life, making things better for yourself. And so I heard somebody specific. There's a young lady. She's very rebellious, but she hears you. You've been speaking to her and she hears you. What you say makes sense to her. You'll be very proud to watch her walk away from something that is very hurtful for her. And I'm just seeing, like, I heard stuck between a rock and a hard place in the dark. Somebody has felt, you know, that they were always stuck between a rock and a hard place in the dark. And finally, there's progress. Finally, there's moving forward from that. And so, yeah, long story short, there's a lot of lessons from the past. Our words are very important. A lot of our self-views, we get them early on, and then we go through life learning how to break free from the falseness that was implanted in us. And then at the end of the day, Some will learn from us and some will not. They'll just move on down the road, keep going. They'll take the lessons with them. They may recall, they may not, but there'll be nothing else for you to actively do about the situation. But I see everywhere you go, no matter how long they're in your experience, you plant another beautiful seed. You plant an idea. You're the one that tells that person who is constantly hearing that one ugly remark about that one thing, oh my God, people could be so cruel, especially children, the girl that was always fat, always heard how she was fat, but not enough people took time to tell her, what a great smile she has, what a great laugh she has, how she puts herself together so well every day. She always puts on some beautiful colorful outfit, or she always says some nice things to say to people. Or I'm specifically hearing that she works with the elderly. Somebody here, she works with the elderly in a very good way. People need to hear the stuff to build them up, true things about themselves that a lot of people didn't pay attention to. And so I'm even hearing, even in our society as a whole, and somebody's really going to be mad that I say this because they can say, that's not true. I hear a lot more people, though. What Spirit is saying is that a lot more people are learning how to do this, to encourage one another and build one another up. So if you haven't seen it, look for it. Look for kind words from strangers, upbuilding things from people that don't even freaking know you, because that's what I'm hearing is happening in our society. There's going to be a lot more upbuilding. People are starting to make more sense of their traumas. They're learning about things like gaslighting and programming, and they're learning about narcissism, and they're learning about healing, and they're learning about all the things that they can do to improve, again saying approve their lot in life. And so they're saying, there is improvement here. Begin to look more for that. At the very minimum, we can all take just a moment here and just give thanks that humans have the capacity to learn. And since both you and I have figured out some things that have helped us to improve our lot in life and learn, then clearly, if it was possible for us, it can be possible for someone else as well. I always hold space for that, because I'll tell you, the way you see me today is not the way I've always been. I was a freaking rageaholic. I will flash in a minute and just be flat out disrespectful in a heartbeat over stupid shit, so crazy. And I'm just not like that no more. And now, I have to acknowledge that if I could change, anybody can change. And so there's that energy here. But it was a long path for you. So I also see again, through this long path of changing and becoming more, you're going to continue to invest in more of that. I heard, but it's not possible for you to help nobody else if you didn't do it for yourself. So I'm also hearing take a pause. And take a shot for me. Not for me, but for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like your higher self come through saying, take a shot for me. Not literally you have to take a shot. Some of you literally will take a shot when you hear this. However, it's like, give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself hugs and kisses. I don't know, but you deserve it, because, honey, what you have changed is huge. It's huge. And like I said, the ones that came before you, the ones that you learned from, they didn't have nothing better to give you. They did not. They couldn't give you nothing better. So you made something better, and you can give it because you chose it. Yeah. I picked this up today at the grocery store. I had to get them. It's cards. They're like scriptures, but I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I need this deck. I've never seen a deck of cards at this store like this kind of decks. They got regular playing cards at the grocery store, but they had this on the rack. It was the only one. I said, that must be for me. It was $5. So I'm going to get that. This is keep calm and trust God. So this will be our first pull. Each side of the card has a different message on it. Some of it is scriptures and some of it is quotes. I did pull a couple cards for myself. I couldn't wait. So we'll see what comes out. What's the message here? What's the final message for here? And then I'll go lay myself down. I haven't been up late that much because I've been taking the children to school in the morning and stuff. All right. And this is a quote from Peter Marshall. I don't know who he is, but it says, God will not permit any troubles to come upon us unless he has a specific plan by which great blessing can come out of the difficulty. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Yes, I love that. In other words, God will not give you a burden you cannot bear. Honey, and like it said, great blessing can come out of the difficulty. This is that conversation I had with that lady earlier today. We're talking about, how the lessons and the blessings are always attached. If you have something difficult you go through, when you realize what the lesson is in the experience, you unlock the blessings in it. And that's what this is reminding me of. It said to see the other side for the scripture. It says, we have the hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. As an anchor for the soul. So the soul, interesting. So I know that this scripture was meant to be one of encouragement, but the way I'm seeing it is like, a lot of these troubles were put there as an anchor on your soul so you can move on, because what an anchor does is it keeps a boat from moving forward. Yeah. It's like, as long as you're anchored into this is who I am, this is what I am, this is where I come from, you know what I'm saying? All those old mentalities from the past, you'll not move forward. But when you find that lesson, honey, you unlock that blessing, you lift that anchor and your soul can move on. That's what I'm hearing. And I know that's contradictory to how this scripture was intended. But I am the child of the living God. And so I get the messages live in real time. Hello, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Okay, yeah. So God will not permit any troubles to come upon us unless he has a specific plan by which great blessing can come out of the difficulty. You have been through major difficulty, but honey, you have the Chariot in the universe, which is the world card, at the center of the spread, the only two major arcanas here. Telling me you finally got mind, body, and soul alignment to lift anchor out of the shit from the past. Like my mama said, just because you were born in the shit don't mean you have to stay in it. You could get up, clean yourself off, and move on. This is your chance to move on. And it's in your soul path to be one to help others to move on. Absolutely. If you've learned how to move on, now you may not do it on a platform like I do. Again, for whatever reason, they're showing me somebody who's a cashier. You deal with people, random people, and then there's the regulars that comes in every day. You're a cashier somewhere, and you could just do it in the most simplest way. In the simplest way, just a kind word, just an honest compliment about some shit that most people wouldn't even notice, It will literally change the world. It's changed my world. I started doing it. It changed my world. I remember when I felt like I was catching so much hate from all these women. And this was around the time when I realized, like, dude, I can change the world. I've changed the world many times. And it started with these. Actually, I just put stiletto nails back on yesterday. And it started with this shape. This was when I realized that the whole world had picked up on stiletto shape, I was like, oh, I did that, because nobody was doing it back in the day. And now, and I was consistent with it. And now everybody's doing it, right? So when I started realizing, it's probably about 8 or 9, maybe even 10 years ago. And then I started setting attention on what was bothering me at the time was that I was getting so much hate from all these women. I'm like, we should be building each other up, not tearing each other down. Like, there are movements that use that as their phrases. Now there's memes out there that I didn't make, but they say that now. There's one thing I start doing to influence change was just literally finding anything to compliment. Just give an honest compliment. I'd be in line. I'm seeing myself in line at a restaurant or at a grocery store or at a gas station or any of these places, and how I would just find an honest compliment for a person. Oh, I love your hair. It's so pretty. I love your curls. My hair's straight, but I love your curls. They're so pretty, especially because, a lot of Black women here in America. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, especially women of color, they have their natural curly hair. They try to process it and flat iron it and all this shit to make it look other than what God designed it to be. And I'm just like, God is the greatest designer. How could you not think your natural curls are gorgeous? God designed them for you personally. Like, your curls are gorgeous. So I would tell people stuff like this, or, and then, oh, you got a great smile. Oh, thank you for holding the door. You're so kind. Or, oh, I love your shoes. Oh, I love your anything. Women is, I focus on women. So even then I focused on women, building them up. You make a change. It could be the smallest little thing that you've done, and you make a change. You help somebody out. And I heard at the same time, you reinforce that for yourself. So how beautiful is that? They said, and that's the closing message. They said, that's the closing message. Okay. And they want me to read this one that's at the bottom of the deck. What does it say? It says, the stars may fall, but God's promises will stand and be fulfilled. A quote from J.I. Packer. Don't know who that person is either. J.I. Packer. However, out of the difficulty comes a blessing. And I see that you have become the blessing as a result of all the difficulty you've been through. So thank God for you. I thank God for you. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can all use, I heard, put a little bit of love in your heart. Put a little bit of love in your heart. And the world will be a brighter place, and the world will be a brighter place for you and me. Just wait and see. That's what I heard. So with all that, I'm going to let you go for the night. Thank you for being here. I see Janine, you active in my comments too. Until next time, love. Excusez-moi. They said, don't cut off yet now. Do you remember? So they had given me a new thing they wanted me to do. Somebody here, you made it to the end. I sure hope that you made it to the end. They want me to go through interstellar frequency. They want me to pick they said the last person that commented on my live, on one of my past lives that's in my notifications. So once the video finishes uploading, all the comments goes in my notifications. They wanted me to pick a card for this person. So interstellar frequency, it's your turn, baby. You are the one that's picked. For you, I'm going to use the Magical Unicorns deck. So let's see. Unexpected me. Clearly, I didn't plan on doing it. I'm about to get up out of here, right? But surprise, interstellar frequency. Thank you for commenting on my last reading. Everybody, make sure you put your comments in, or I won't be able to pick your name. And Spirit is clearly reminding me that they want me to do this. Y'all come in and you show love on my videos. It is noticed, and Spirit just reminded me to do that again. So let's get a message for interstellar frequency. What is the most valuable message? And here it is. Love from your parents. No matter what, your mother and father love you as much as they can. And that goes great with the whole message, actually, what we just had, because we just have this parent and this child. Yeah. So interstellar frequency, I'm seeing this. I'm not sure if your parents are alive or on the other realm, but your parents love you as much as they can. And I see that you are a very loving parent, and Spirit just wants to acknowledge that right now and how important that is. I heard, and thank you. So, all right. Now, with all that being said and done, and until next time, sending you so much love and peace and happiness. 감사합니다. Gracias. You can send me $1 or more too. Later, baby. Love you. And I'm out.